6 on your side at 5 continues now.
In Idaho, it is illegal to remove an animal from the wild, but what if that animal is facing certain death? In October, a Boise man took it upon himself to try to save a suffering bear cub. Steve Liebenthal tonight shows us how that bear is doing now in tonight's Idaho Back Roads.
A few miles outside of McCall, up the icy Lick Creek Road, is a sanctuary where 4 black bear cubs are waiting for spring, including one you may recognize. He's the one in the front there with the white blaze on his chest. 2 months ago, Charles Erickson found him lying in the snow, nearly lifeless.
It barely could move because it was starved half to death. I noticed that its gums were pure white and its tongue was pure white, so I knew it was obviously dehydrated.
So Erickson took the bear to Boise, where he gave it cat food, water, and even bottle fed it. And he and his kids also gave the sickly cub a name.
His name was Chewy Bear. Chewy for short.
Erickson was emotional on that day because Fish and Game officers had just confiscated Chewy, and he was afraid they would euthanize the cub. Instead, Chewy was taken to the Snowden Wildlife Sanctuary, but his recovery was anything but certain.
We were pretty concerned when he first came in, and that's mainly because he wasn't very interested in food. And bears tend to be very food-driven animals, so usually when they don't want to eat, that's a very bad sign that things, it might not work out.
Rehabilitators treated Chewy's injured leg and encouraged him to eat, drink, and grow stronger. One breakthrough led to another, and this week we witnessed one that hadn't happened yet.
This is the first time I've seen Chewy and another cub kind of socialize, so that was pretty cool. It kind of helps them so that they're not, just associating with people. So, they're hanging out with other bears, they're seeing them, and then they're like, okay, I'm a cub, I'm a bear. Yeah, Chewy's the one that's all the way up there.
Chewy and his new buddy are 2 of 4 bear cubs here. The other 2 are tucked away in natural dens, ready for a long winter's nap. The dens are part of a very carefully designed sanctuary that mimics what they will find in nature.
So this gives enrichment for the cubs, or something for them to play with and kind of munch on. And then it's something that they're going to probably be encountering in the wild too. So as you can see in our 2-acre enclosure, it's mimicking what they're going to be released back into. So they're climbing trees in the spring, they're foraging on huckleberries, they're doing all the things that a wild bear should be doing. And so that's why it's so important that all enrichment stays natural.
And all of that enrichment seems to be working well for the 4 cubs here on this 2-acre facility, including the one that has become known to many as Chewy.
When he was coming in, he was really lethargic, not eating, limping, just very little mobility at all. So exercising him in a smaller pen and then just kind of working up his appetite to enough that he eats on his own. Now you saw him, he scaled that tree just fine. So we think after a full winter here, he should be good to go in the spring. So we're very optimistic about that.
Steve Liebenthal, 6 on your side.
Chewy's a good climber. Even though Chewy and his new buddy are not brothers, they will be released into the wild together next spring.
Coming up next.